The Walt Disney Company is proud to announce that The Acolyte is the biggest show premiere in 2024 so far. Let's talk about all the other shows that did not come out yet in 2024, right here on That Park Place. Hello, I am Jonas J. Campbell, an investigative reporter for That Park Place, and here with me is avid Force user, Mr. VashSky. Vash, if you had the Force, where would you use it?
You know, usually you have to get a grabber stick when you're on the couch and, you got a cold snack over there. It'd be nice to just, force that right in your hand right there. But
oh, man, that'd be great. You might spill your drink, though. See, I think I would end up using it in traffic, either to move a vehicle or, I'm going to say, maybe even tempted for a little bit of force choke there, here or there, maybe. Ooh. Instead of a honking of the horn, a little squeezy of the neck there. Anyways, there's your path to the dark side, as it were. So speaking of the path to the dark side, I just want to talk about a little deception here on the part of the Walt Disney Company. The Acolyte reaches 4.8 million views in one day. Biggest Disney Plus launch of 2024. This by Salome, perhaps, Hailu of Variety. Forgive me if I've mispronounced your name there. The Acolyte, Disney Plus's newest Star Wars series, reached 4.8 million views in its first day of availability. This marks the streamer's biggest series premiere of 2024, according to Disney. Hey, Vash, real quick, what else came out in 2024? Big premieres in 2024 on Disney Plus. You got anything?
Yeah, I think I do have one. Echo, right?
Echo, that's very true. Echo did come out. It didn't that come out like January 2nd or something? And by the way, that was the entire series run of Echo that came out in like one day here in the first part of the year. Also, X-Men 97, which for those of you who are not aware of what that is a cartoon. That's another season of it's a revival of the X-Men series. I watched the first few episodes and it was actually pretty good. Even though I've been told that I hate it, which is funny because I've never said that I hate it. But anyways, maybe I'll finish it one of these days and I'll tell people whether or not I do. But the Acolyte has beaten Echo, which most people that are not terminally online are unaware of. And it has also beaten X-Men 97, which was the biggest animated series premiere on Disney Plus. That was the superlative that they figured out for that one. The Acolyte is also the biggest digital premiere for a trailer that Disney has ever had at like 40 million views or something like that. Maybe it was 45. Of course, if you're actually paying attention, The Mandalorian, I want to say season 3 had 85 million views, and that was the biggest one. So, the only way that Disney figures out how they can do these is fudging the numbers a little bit. They're massaging that into like, oh, well, it's the biggest premiere for this, for that. Let's see what they do with this one. An exact first day viewership total isn't available for Ahsoka, the most recent Star Wars series, though Disney did report that it took 5 days to reach 14 million views. That comes out to an average of 2.8 million views per day, 2 million below the launch of The Acolyte. That is fascinating right there. Note, a view is calculated by dividing the number of hours each title is watched by its runtime. I'm not sure that that's exactly the best way to phrase that, because in this instance, they're assuming that people are going back to watch it again. Vash, do you think people are going back to watch Ahsoka over and over and over again, or The Acolyte over and over and over again?
I hope not. Oh man, could you imagine Bob Iger having to sit through this two to five times just to get the full Acolyte experience? My goodness. Please do not watch this more than once. You'll start to lose brain cells there. I don't think that's a very healthy practice. However, in answer to your question, I seriously doubt anybody's going back to watch this over and over again.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Variety critic Allison Herman likens The Acolyte to Andor and The Last Jedi. Oh, that's not a high bar to set there, for its willingness to put its own spin on hallowed lore. Additionally, her review noted that the series propelled by plentiful action, much of it hand-to-hand combat, heavily influenced by martial arts, but the action itself is rooted in conflict with stakes both large and small for characters we quickly come to care about. Maybe she's seen more of The Acolyte than I've seen, but so far the stakes appear to be whether or not somebody dies in that fight.
Yeah, quickly come to care about. That's Jonas, did you fall in love with these characters soon as you saw them? And
No, not really
passing.
yet. I mean, I'm still. Usually, I like to wait till you're like 4 episodes in on a series before I say whether or not I would recommend it here. But these series are so short that you kind of have to speed it up a little bit before you get invested. They did 2 episodes so far, and they have one character which seems to have two characters played by one actress, and it seems to be one characterization between the two of them. Lee Jung Jae's character, I suppose I might care about him at this point. Kind of remains to be seen whether or not he's gonna do anything interesting. And I like that Yord guy. He seems to be the foil for everyone else because he's the only one that is stating to everyone how things are supposed to be going. So he's the best glimpse into how this world is actually supposed to run when it's not the hunting down of a murderer and maybe the rooting for a murderer as this goes on. It's so strange. The whole show is just so strange. And when I say they're rooting for a murderer, I'm not talking about like Dexter, where it's you have a sympathetic serial killer enacting justice. Or something like that. This is a character that looks like the main character, and I mean the same haircut, same person playing this character, just slight changes in the outfit here to where you forget which one you're looking at times. It really, I don't know. This show struggles a lot, and I respect the fact that Yord is over there being like, I want to be a Jedi. I want to. Well, by the way, the space FBI. Anyways, we don't need to do a review of this because the review will be coming of episode 3, which I'm hearing is a travesty. But I'm going to go in with an open mind as we hear about this all-female coven of witches that gives birth to these two Force twins, and also maybe I'm not going to spoil it. You'll just have to watch after we watch Variety Critic. Anyways, going on here, the real reason that we're talking about this show today is that 4.8 million views right there. Vash, we did a little math here. If Disney calculates a view the same way Netflix calculates a view here, so we're not saying that they're lying. Runtime divided by actual minutes watched. So if 100 million people watch 1 minute of this show, you would take 100 million divided by the runtime of the show at this point. So right now, that 4.8 million views. How many subscribers do they have on Disney Plus right now? It's under 200 million, but right now
it's
we're
like
looking
142 million.
Yeah, it's and Disney is a little squirrely with their numbers here at the moment.
Right.
But this is abysmal numbers right here for what is supposed to be one of the flagship series, the flagship franchises for Disney at the moment. You could say this isn't intended for kids, but Star Wars as a brand is supposed to be intended for kids. It used to be that one of these things, like The Mandalorian, was the reason that people watched things on Disney Plus, with maybe a deviation here or there for like Bluey or maybe some archive content that Disney has. But now we're talking about 4.8 million views, which is a diminishment on previous things. By the way, just want to point out here for those of you who might be interested, Marvel's Echo debuted at number 10 when that was premiering. I have this one right here, the Loki season 2 premiere reached 10.9 million views in 3 days, according to Disney. So we have yet to see anything from Disney pointing out how many views this show got over 3 days. And I'm sure that they would brag about it if they felt like they could do that. Well, we had a little breaking news while we were actually recording this video. Disney has actually reported their first 5 days of the Acolyte. And look right there. This is either Osha or May. Who knows? Who cares? But right down here, after taking a light speed trip to 4.8 million views in 1 day, it looks like that has doubled over the course of 5 here. Right here, 11.1 million views globally based on 5 days of streaming, maintaining its status as the biggest series premiere on Disney Plus of 2024. Vash, first of all, they finally confirmed that this is global, which I think that's an important number to give there, since primarily Disney gets most of their viewership from the United States because it has struggled in every other country in the world to maintain its subscriber numbers. Vash, that is a pretty big number there, 11.1 million views. Do you want to do some translation for us?
11.1 million views globally. Oh, I don't know if that's necessarily a huge number right there. We did a little bit of math on the viewership numbers as it relates to like minutes watched. So if you're looking at the Nielsen chart, how much that would be. And I think we came up to like what, around 800 million minutes watched or so for those first 2 episodes right there.
843 million minutes watched, which if we go and look, that means it's a decline from Ahsoka, which declined towards the end. It seems like a lot of these things are pretty front loaded here. If we go and we go back to the entire run of Echo, got 731 million minutes in its first 6 days of availability on Disney Plus. So Echo, not a great hit as far as that is concerned. So yes, definitely not disagreeing. Echo was worse, but Echo, it didn't do well at all. It's kind of forgotten here. In fact, I think that might be the reason for the Marvel Cinematic Universe changing their television strategy to where they have Marvel Television separated out from Marvel Studios now. So yeah, not gonna question whether or not this was bigger than Echo. It seems like Loki right here, season 2. It beat out Loki a little bit here. Well, if you add 2 more days of Loki, could it get past that mark? I'm not really sure. The whole point, though, here is on this, which was a very low week, it would be the top of the charts if it was this week and it was just in the United States. But we're talking globally. I don't think this is a good sign for the show here.
I'm not thinking so. Again, this is a $180 million show. This is almost $200 million they spend on this thing. And again, that's numbers that they've reported right there. Could be a lot more, right? And to get, 11.1 million views in the first 5 days, whereas Loki Season 2 premiered at 10.9 million over 3 days, I can't see this as doing gangbusters business for Disney right here. Again, this is a top tier franchise brand for them, right? This isn't, an off character like Loki is. This is top tier Star Wars, or at least they want you to feel that it is. And yet 11.1 globally? Not so sure about this one.
You know what? I've got an idea for how to save Disney. They ought to hire that Jenny Nicholson girl to go in and just do 8 episodes of whatever she wants, and I think that they'll probably get better viewership, and it may not even cost them $200 million in order to do that. I don't want to do negotiation on behalf of Jenny Nicholson with her 4-hour Star Cruiser video that got at least 5 to 7 million views on it. Of course, those are counted in a different way. Yes, I know. But it seems like more people are interested in what is going on at Disney than they are in the content that Disney produces at this point. So I want to throw this to our viewers here, especially our subscribers. If you're not a subscriber, don't comment. Actually, please click subscribe before you comment if you would not mind doing that. Are you going to be watching The Acolyte, or are you going to be one of those people who just watches everyone else's reaction to The Acolyte? It sounds like that is a much larger portion of the audience here on YouTube. That being said, like this video if you like this video or you found it informative, and consider subscribing to That Park Place for all of the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.